Hello Cowboys Nation, welcome to another video, and without further ado, let's get to another round of news from America's team. Cowboys cannot let these players walk out of the star this offseason. Here we are, another football season over, and the Dallas Cowboys are once again going to hit with a bunch of pending free agents that they need to make sure they resign, or at least attempt to keep in the building. They have multiple players whose contracts are expiring. These players include defensive tackle Osa Odighizuwa, cornerback Jordan Lewis, defensive end Chauncey Golston, and running back Rico Dowdle. If they learned anything from last season, the Cowboys need to try and get as many of these players to stay at the star as possible. Dan Quinn took half the roster with him and made the NFC title game. Who knows what will happen if they let a few of these guys walk again. Osa Odighizuwa. Osa should be the #1 priority when it comes to resigning someone. Odighizuwa was a third-round selection by the Cowboys in the 2021 NFL Draft and has played great through almost 4 seasons. Odighizuwa had 4.5 sacks this season. His 30 pressures were tied with the Jets' Quinnen Williams for the second most among defensive tackles. Odighizuwa fits best as a 3 technique and can be a pass-rushing threat in nickel fronts. Matt Eberflus is the Cowboys' new defensive coordinator, hoping to leverage his successful tenure with the Indianapolis Colts to revitalize their defense. Eberflus, the team's 3rd defensive coordinator in 3 years, aims to attract key free agents while implementing a fast and physical defensive scheme. I am sad to say that if he does not take a team-friendly deal, Jerry is going to let him go. He will get 3 times the money on the open market. Rico Dowdle. I still think, regardless of what they do in the NFL Draft in April, they need to try and get Rico Dowdle back on a solid deal. Dowdle shared carries with Ezekiel Elliott to start the season, but eventually became the lead back, finishing the season with 1,079 yards rushing on 235 carries. The Cowboys now have a head coach in Brian Schottenheimer who loves nothing more than to run the football. He led the league twice in rushing years ago when he was the offensive coordinator for a few different teams. It is something that he highlighted in his press conference when he got introduced on Monday. Look for the Cowboys to try and draft a running back, whether that is in the 1st round, who knows. Jordan Lewis. Of course, I want Zach Martin and others to come back, but there is no chance I would let Jordan Lewis sign with another team. Lewis played in 16 games, had 52 tackles, 24 defensive stops, 48 receptions allowed, only 488 yards allowed, 5 pass breakups and a 79 coverage grade. Dallas brought him back this year on a 1-year deal for just over $2 million. You can't find many guys who will be better in the slot as a corner than Lewis. Lewis spoke publicly about wanting to stay in Dallas, and if Jerry does not make it happen, this team is going to sink really fast in 2025. These are just the 3 guys that I would like to see come back before anyone. DeMarcus Lawrence is a pending free agent, as is Martin, like I said, but no knows, maybe he retires. I am really hoping this team dips into free agency this season, because if not, they are going to lose over 10 of their own players, and not gain anyone. That really worked out well for them this season, didn't it? A lot of us fans are at the breaking point with this hire, and we will have to wait and see how badly it blows up on Jerry. Yet, who am I kidding? He hired him because he won't care about firing him when it doesn't work. And if somehow this does, he can be the man to tell everyone I told you so. Cowboys linked to polarizing ex-Bills coach for OC job. Amidst the significant amount of coaching changes happening at the Dallas Cowboys in the new, Brian Schottenheimer era, one major position remains unfilled. The Cowboys have yet to appoint an offensive coordinator, the role Schottenheimer assumed prior to his promotion to head coach this month. The list of candidates has not been particularly long as Thursday, with only Falcons tight end coach, Kevin Calder, and Arizona Cardinals offensive line coach, Clayton Adams in the running. However, there seems to be an additional person to add into the mix, one whose name likely evokes significantly stronger feelings than the other two. Former Buffalo Bills and Cleveland Browns offensive coordinator, Ken Dorsey, is thought to be a serious candidate for Dallas' vacant offensive coordinator position, per Jeremy Fowler. Dorsey, once thought of as one of the brightest up-and-coming coaching minds in football, had the critical job of replacing the departed Brian Daboll in leading the Buffalo Bills offense. A strong debut 2022 season as offensive coordinator, that saw the Bills rank as the #2 offense in the NFL, was followed by a less successful 2023, in which the Bills started 5-5, from which Dorsey was given his marching orders mid-season. This past year in Cleveland was not much better for Dorsey, with the Browns' offense ranking 28th in the NFL in yards and dead last in points, 32nd, in 2024. Although much of that rests on the shoulders of the exponential decline of highly compensated franchise quarterback, Deshaun Watson, and we did see some good, along with bad, moments from backup, Jameis Winston, Cowboys fans would not be out of place in being skeptical of the hiring were it to move forward. Would Ken Dorsey be a strong offensive coordinator hire for the Cowboys? Perhaps a consolatory note for Dallas fans will draw from the fact that Schottenheimer has already confirmed that he will be calling offensive plays for the team this upcoming season. And whilst Dorsey's up-and-down career, that started with aiding in the development of Josh Allen, may have some cause for concern, he is an experienced offensive coordinator that has the ability to handle an offense. With Schottenheimer coming in as a first-time head coach, having a solid pair of hands that have been there and done that, on both sides of the ball, is crucial. Matt Eberflus and Ken Dorsey would be an experienced defensive offensive coordinator pairing that could be key pillars to lean on come the critical moments of the regular season, and perhaps even the playoffs. Nothing is confirmed yet, and this is just a singular report, albeit from a very reliable source in Fowler, but it feels like with two other more obscure candidates, this one could have some smoke to it. But perhaps the former Seahawks offensive coordinator will decide to go for a lesser-known figure, one who will not push back as much on his ideas, and will be more willing to let him take charge of the offense.